Hello everybody, it's Rob here. So we have been testing many different Barbarian setups, and today I want to show you what I think will be the best setup, or at least the setup that I will use to go in to the first Abattoir of Zir and forward. I put everything in a planner that I will link in the description, and we will go over it as we speak. So these are my unbuffed stats here right now. We are in a Nightmare Dungeon 100. I'm just here solo, like these guys are gonna chill, so it's just to simulate higher HP. So first of all, what you want to do when you play these dungeons is you want to pre-buff yourself, especially in the higher tiers. So there's basically two options. We can use Iron Skin Elixir, or we can use Elixir of Resourcefulness on this Barbarian build. On this one, we are using the Elixir of Resourcefulness. It gives us another 50 Fury because we should have the armor cap. There's been a lot of discussions what the new armor cap is going to be. I'm planning to go between 14 and 15k armor. So I have 9.4k unbuffed. Let's buff ourselves. So we are using Elixir of Resourcefulness. Boom. We're also using a Song of the Mountain. This is an elixir, an incense type 1. And there's 3 different types, and you can use all of them together. So we are using Song of the Mountain here. It gives us 200 armor. You can craft these. We're using Smoothing Spice. This one gives us all res and also armor. Boom. And we are using the Chocks of War. This one gives us 40 all stats. Boom. And these are kind of our unbuffed stats. This is going to be the same if I'm solo. I don't know, like this per player stack doesn't work. Like you'll see it when I leave the player stack here, it'll count. So these are like how the stats are looking right now, roughly. Like if we buff ourselves, like this is like kind of how it looks. And I don't have full cold res. You can fix that in your Paragon board, but I'm kind of okay with 65. I think the least important res is cold res. So we are maxing fire res, we are maxing lightning res, and then poison and shadow is also nice to have. But I think cold is going to be the least important. We'll see. So we're going to be playing a variation of my Hota Barb, as you guys could see already. We are basically playing the build that's going to get nerfed in January. It's going to get nerfed in PvP right now. They just released a hotfix for that on December 5th. But for Abattoir of Zir, it's completely fine. We can enjoy this build for 6 weeks. And this is going to be the Infinite Healing Barb. And yes, I might even upgrade my potion for this one, because now it becomes useful. I'll just show you the gear here real quick. So we're rocking Harlequins. Oh, actually, let's do the run first. So you see, this is like all my buffs, basically. This is what you want to pre-buff you in Abattoir of Zir. And again, I have the planner here. And I have some notes here where I explain all this. And this one is actually... I need to update this one. There's also like an alternative here. You can play dodge. But I think the 200 armor one is stronger. So plus 200 armor for this one. This is like the way you can pre-buff yourself, basically. And yeah, now we're just starting here with the run. Like this is the stats. And I will show you roughly the playstyle, and then we will go over the gear and all the details. So the idea in this build, notice we have like ground stomp on the bar and everything. And we want to make like a big pull, and then we use our Wrath, then we use our ground stomp and our buffs, and then we smash, basically. Like we see like this is like 300 million hits, and we are playing Melted Heart. We're not even playing Banished Lord Talisman right now. And we have like crazy Fortify, crazy, this is not our real life, by the way. And this is like a very dangerous dungeon. It has Blood Blister, Blood Shadow damage, Backstabbers. So I chose like the most dangerous dungeon I could find. So yeah, we can just do these kind of rotations. And the idea is to do one rotation every 12 seconds, playing around your Blood Boil and your Overpower mechanics, basically. So in Nightmare Dungeons, like you would basically start to accumulate like a lot of monsters. So like here, for example. So first thing, you always want to make them vulnerable. We do this just with our dash because we have the glyphs. Then we kind of make a big pull here. We start pressing Wrath. We press Ground Stomp. We press our Shouts. And then we blast. Boom. 400 million or something. And then again, we're going to get the new glyph as well, right? So these hits are going to be even stronger. So this build is like very reliant on like creating pulls. Obviously, like here's objectives. You're not going to have this in Nightmare Dungeons or in the Abattoir of Zir, right? So we are using Ground Stomp to reset. You see, if I press Ground Stomp, it's going to reset my Wrath of the Berserk cooldown. And this Wrath of the Berserk has a great synergy with Melted. You maybe hear all these like ticks here. It gives us a lot more damage the more resources that we spend. And yeah, we are spending a ton of resources here. And obviously there's also a lot of monsters. So I'm like playing slow here, just explaining you the rotation as we go, right? Yeah, and the Ground Stomp has an excellent synergy here with Domination, gives us another 1.25 multiplier. And here, like you see here, I do a Ground Stomp, boom. My Wrath the Berserk cooldown is instantly back up. I can use Wrath here, we group them up again. And then, boom, we blast them. And that's sort of like the idea of doing the rotation. Like you only, and you can like kind of, it's hard to tell sometimes down here. Because of your, because of all the buffs, like there's so many of them, right? But most of the time, you just need to basically go with your feeling. So here, we make the rotation. Right now we don't have Wrath, so we reset it here in this one. Boom, now it's reset. Maybe we can group some elites here on this one. And I want to show you like on a big rotation here. Let's do it probably on this elite up here. You notice like we play the Immortal build, right? Like we can't die, at least not on these tiers. Who knows how it's going to be on Abattoir here. Okay, but we start by pressing this button. I'm going to keep the stat open. Now we do this, use this, and boom. 300 million or something. And you can even stay in all this, like it doesn't even hurt you, even in the most hostile dungeons here. And yeah, attack power goes up to like 150. We're rocking, when we're buffed here, we're rocking 15k armor with our pre-buffs. So that is pretty insane. There was a Blood Blister that hit us, didn't do anything. Just like out of habit, move away from it. 15k armor, it might be a bit overkill. But there can also be an affix that reduces your armor. So you kind of want to be ready for all sorts of shenanigans. Because there is going to be afflictions on these keys. And they're basically going to probably have armor reduction there as well. So 35%. So I'm like, I'd rather have a bit too much armor than too little, right? With the caps and stuff. Okay, that is basically the build, guys. And yeah, let's go over the gear and the stats and the new Paragon board that we did. So there is a couple of swap items I have here in my inventory, as you notice. We will also go over like a bunch of alternatives here. For example, switching the Banished Lords to the Melted Heart and so on and so on. First of all, we are playing Shaco. This is in every build. Let's go over the items that are in every build. So we always have a Shaco. We always have a Disobedience on our chest armor, pretty much. We always have Limitless Rage on our mace. We always have Hammer of the Ancients, Quakes, because this is just creates the AoE on our mace. One-hander. We always have Doombringer for Crazy Life. We always have Grandfather for the multiplayers. We always have Red Furor. And we always have one of these amulets. And then this ring here, there might be a couple different options. Because we saw in various footages that the Bloodseekers that are going to be the final objective to overcome are not considered a boss. So I'm still debating a bit if we're going to like switch this on the boss. I also have a switch. It's going to be... I don't have it here right now. I'll show it to you. It's going to be in my stash. It's the 4 shout per... 4 fury per shout ring that you can probably switch to this one here on the boss. Because... it looks like we will be able to switch gear in the Abattoir here. So you can basically play one setup in the Rift, and then once you are fighting the Bloodseekers, I'm most likely switching the Banished Lords in. So we're hitting for like almost up to 1 billion. And I'm probably going to switch the ring as well. But this remains to be seen. If we can switch it, I'm going to make a video explaining this in more detail. Okay, these are kind of like the fixed stuff. Then we have, right now I'm playing Edgemaster, and you notice here I changed Overpower to main stat. Main stat also gives you armor, and from all the testings I did and the calculations we did is that main stat even gives you more damage as well, because it gives you a multiplier right here. We go from 1.3 to 1.360, and it seems to be more damage on paper than the Overpower, because the Overpower damage you already have a lot and it's additive. So this is what we're changing here as well. Then we are playing Tarbet's Will. There is an option to play defensive pants that I also have in my chest, but I think we don't want to drop Tarbet's Will. It didn't look like too crazy hostile in there. So I do not want to give up the resource generation, and I don't want to give up the 1.4 multiplier here. So this one is probably also in most setups. Notice on the bracers here, we can play Edgemaster right now. I also have a switch that has a Lucky Hit. This one still has Overpower. I didn't replace everything yet. But the plan I will have the most optimal setup, and I think it's going to be Edgemaster. This Lucky Hits, you can later on get it on your boots. So this is like another switch you can do. switch the boots. And this is what I recommend for the highest tiers. Like right now, I still like to have movement speed. But I think once we fight the really high tiers and once we fight the boss, movement speed will become a bit less relevant. You still have some movement speed with your Rallying Cry, but you notice like we're not as fast, right, with these boots. And these boots also have Fury cost reduction. This is also something you can do. And then, yeah, Unrelenting Fury for the run itself. So that's how it looks. Stats are looking like this. This is all the rest. Again, if you want, on this board where you socket in your Tears of Blood Glyph, you can easily pick up another 5 cold res. And then I'm looking like this. I'm literally like missing 1 cold res right now. But you can also fix that if you want. Like you can put another point in here. Like so you can like adjust a lot by just switching some points around and fixing your res like that, basically. Many things to do. But yeah. Don't know, why did I lose armor now? Oh, I lost the point here. So yeah, there's a lot of things you can work around. But 10k armor unbuffed plus disobedience seems pretty good to me. Expertise now, we're going back to X. We have the technology in our skill tree to proc our bleeds here with Outburst and Tough as Nails. I think this is a really strong combination. Like even if we're just chilling, like we're getting that buff, and it's really strong. For the skill tree, I'm going to show this to you in the planner, I think. So I have this planner here. I'm going to link it in the description. That has the 1 to 49 glyph, the Tears of Blood. This is how I will go in. And it also has a lot of notes here and just tips in general. I also have a second setup. It has the Tears of Blood at a high level, like +5 ranks, right? This is like the main difference between the two planners, is that the one has 5 ranks and this one has 4 ranks, basically. But this is the starter one, and I'm expecting this to be quite the grind to get your glyph up. So we're definitely gonna stick for quite some time with this, and this is definitely the setup that I recommend you start with. And there is a couple choices here that I will go into, but you have to make the choice at some point, and I chose, let's say, the bit more offensive approach, right? So these are like the best in slot gears. Like I showed you the stats that I have here on my Barb, and you can always see for your Barb. This is like just what it is for me, like around this kind of stats. And you'll see how your Barb is gonna feel. For Vampiric Powers, we did a couple of changes as well. We're always playing Butt Boy, we're always playing Resilience, because when we get low life plus the Injured is an excellent combination, I think. We always play Metamorphosis, and then the last two are kind of optional. I still like Pretty Weak, even though it seems to be additive. It's still our only way to make targets reliable, vulnerable. So we just make them vulnerable with that. And we need them to be vulnerable because it's another 1.2 multiplier. It triggers some damage reduction, and it also triggers one of our Paragon nodes. Then we have Domination here because now we are stunning with Ground Stomp. And this is like one of the major changes that I did. I dropped the Iron Skin, and now we have Ground Stomp to always benefit from the ×2 multiplier from Wrath. Right now, Melted Heart of Sealing is not nerfed yet, and it's not going to be until January. So we're still getting up to double damage from our Berserking whenever we just get hit while our Wrath is active. You can actually see, I think, my attack power going up whenever I press this and I get hit. Let's do it here. So we press the button. And as I get hit, my attack power will go higher and higher. This is probably capped now. Okay, that's how it goes. Like, it's crazy. Boom, everything dead. Yeah, like they even like kill themselves, like cause I have thorns right now, so it's pretty funny. And you can use this Ground Stomp. You see a 30 seconds cooldown. We press the skill. Boom, now it's 10 seconds less because I hit like 10 enemies, right? So yeah, that's how it's going, and getting new keys here is always good. So that's why I like the Ground Stomp. And you also will be able to stagger/stun for 4 seconds the Bloodseekers. So when the Bloodseekers spawn, my idea is like to Ground Stomp them, get like these crazy damage multiplier, and just hit them for like 1 billion or something. And then like do this 3 times until you're guaranteed overpowers. Like you have a Blood Boil overpower, and you have your Bonebreaker overpower. Just kill them with that. And the good thing is, Ground Stomp is not taking your overpower. Like, you know, with Lunging Strike, when you Lunging Strike, it can take your Bonebreaker overpower. But Ground Stomp doesn't do that. It's, I don't know, it's not considered a skill or something, or not considered an attack, so that's great. It helps us a lot, like it doesn't steal our overpowers. So we can use this one to stun the enemies before we hit them for the 25% X here, and just like blast the enemies basically. So that's one of the major changes that we did to the setup. And the reason we are playing Healing Barb and not low life, I think, is because the main reason is damage. Because I think we will need a lot of damage to be able to clear the Nightmare Dungeon, the Abattoir of Zir on the high tiers. 10 minutes is not a long time. And the main reason has to do with the second sentence here, the second bullet point, when you hover Overpower. It says, includes the inherently damage increase by overpowers based on your current life. Up to 50% extra at maximum life. So if your life is full, if you are healthy, from your overpower hits, you're getting a 1.5x multiplier. So it's basically a 50% more damage just because I'm not low life, right? And if I can survive at being like high life and not low life, I'm already getting 50% more damage. And that's the main reason why we play the Healing Barb now. So you definitely want to have healing in your skill tree here, Invigorating Fury. That's really, really important. And it's going to give you 50% more damage, basically. And that's why we chose to go with the Healing Barb. Skill tree, let's just go over it real quick. We have 2 points in Lunging Strike just to unlock the next one. If you don't have the Shaco and you don't have Grandfather and stuff, you can play Might and Earth Striker. And then I would recommend you put 1 more point in Lunging Strike and play with a Generator instead of Ground Stomp. But here, just 2 points to unlock Hota. Hota, obviously, Fury scaling. Ground Stomp here with the cooldown reduction for Wrath of the Berserk, double damage basically, and stuns, really good against the Bloodseekers. Damage reduction, Rallying Cry, Challenging Shout, 1 point Outburst, 1 point Tough as Nails. Again, to keep our disobedience, we make the targets bleed. We get our armor to 15k with those two. Then we have Warcry, 1.1 multiplier, also for party members. We have Shout, buff duration, really good as well. We have the Raid Leader here with all the healing that we can't take at the moment because this is still a good passive, but right now we're spending the points in damage. You can switch these 3 to Raid Leader just to get more healing and stuff if you feel squishy. So there's always like a lot of things you can switch around, but I like them in counter-offensive. I'm giving up 1 point here, but yeah, it's a good damage multiplier. Then we have the close buffs here. We're playing Wallop and Brute Force. What you can also do, if you want more stuns, if you feel like Ground Stomp isn't enough, you can also add Concussion. And since we are already playing Lucky Hit on our gloves here, I think Lucky Hit is amazing because it basically boosts your Doombringer procs, it boosts your Relentless, and it can also boost your stuns if you're playing this passive. So you can try around with this, like you go counter-offensive if you want damage, Concussion if you want stuns and crowd control, and Raid Leader if you feel like you need recovery, sustain, healing. And then we are playing Invigorating Fury right now. Okay, this is the setup I recommend, that's what I will go in as. And then we have Unbridled Rage, obviously. And then the Paragon board, this one is also new. There is a couple options on the right board here, but let's start with the starter one. So we put Ira here. Obviously, the Carnage board had Ira before. This is where the Tears of Blood goes. I also have it written down in the notes here. So for the very first run of Abattoir of Zir, you do not have your new glyph yet. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to play the Dominate. This is the glyph we drop, but for the first run, we can still just keep it in because I don't want to respec in the middle of Abattoir. So I'm just going to like prepare like this. And we go in with Dominate. And once we get the Tears of Blood, we're obviously going to change it, right? To the Tears of Blood, not max level. So this will be... I assume it's going to take some time to get it to level 50. And only when you have it on 50, you need to stat the extra range and stat more stats. I'll explain it to you in a second how you do that. But yeah, we have Ira in the starter board. Went from here. If you have more Paragon points over, you can populate more main set here because it's 5% Berserking, 5% Berserking, 5% Berserking. But we need the points elsewhere. Then we have the Abattoir of Zir, the Tears of Blood. So obviously you want to populate this fully. It gives 2% on level 1, multiplicative, and it's only going to get crazier and crazier. If you have points here, you can also take more damage reduction, but I just went full DPS here. And then let's first talk about this stuff. Like, this is pretty standard board as well. Bonebreaker, Tenacity, Life Armor, really strong. We have Crusher here now with Brutality and Damage Reduction with Healthy, also really useful with the full life build, because you have Energy Shield, your Fury is your Energy Shield, and you're staying healthy for long, and you want to stay healthy, because it gives you more damage, as we established with Overpower 1.5 times. We also changed the board here slightly on Blood Rage. We're just picking up double Berserking in the Enraged node. Then on the right side here, we have the Warbringer node. Again here with Wrath. I think Wrath is going to be one of the best glyphs. Not for the crit, but for the Fury generation. Like, every crit, and again, you will be critting a lot with your Red Furor plus Melted Heart, because it's going to spend Fury, it's going to spend resources constantly, and you are getting healing. You're getting a Fury back, which is life, basically. Then you're picking Warbringer. Like, every time you get hit, you spend Fury with Melted Heart. This is the mechanic that they will nerf in January, but for now it works. And it's very strong. That's why we use it. This gives you Fortify permanently. You don't need anything else. Only Warbringer will get you there. Then we have the Core Reserve and the Fury nodes here. Hungering Fury, really good. And then on the right side here, you have some options. So there is 2 Paragon boards here. One is with Martial. So this one gives you Shout cooldown, and it gives you more armor. This is the one I recommend. Maybe for the high tiers, if you need the toughness. Because you get more Warcry uptime, better Fury, and a lot more armor, basically. But if you just need damage, and that's what I'm going to do in the early boards, I'm going to pick Decimator. Decimator gives us a 20% damage multiplicative. And on the way here, we can also pick up some life. And even Potion Healing might be pretty okay with the healing build. So this is the offensive version. I recommend this on low levels, because like, you just blast damage. And then you'll see, if you can't survive, you can switch to the Weapons Master board instead of Decimator board, and add in Martial as more Shout uptime glyph. Because we drop Martial here right now. And what you basically do is, once your glyph gets to rank 50, it's going to look like this. It's going to get +1 rank, right? And what I do then is I'm going to unspec this one. This is going to be unspec'd, because we need Paragon points, and we populate this glyph. So we would do this. And then these 3 points you can spend where you want. If you want more armor, you have armor nodes up here with the cold res. I'm going to talk about res in a second, I forgot. Or you can spend it here to get more berserking. Like here we can pick up another 10 berserking damage. Whatever you want. I put the spec with the defensive one here, where I also unspec this one, and added Martial Glyph. That also works. Really whatever you want. But I have these like 2 options. So this is the low level one, this is the high level one with rank 5 and defense. So you can pick what you want. It really depends on your gear, how offensive, how defense, on your playstyle you want to be in the Paragon boards, basically. But yeah, the core is always the same. So this one is always the same, this one is the same, this one is the same. This one is kind of the same, like you're just switching the rest. This one is the same, and this one you can choose between Decimator with no glyph, but just a legendary node for 20% damage multiplier, or Martial here, because this multiplies the armor nodes here. So you're going to get like a shit ton of armor, basically, like if you don't have as much armor as I do here. So that's the options. Let's quickly talk about the rest, because my buffs just ran out, so this is my unbuffed stats. Quickly talk about my res. So as you notice here, my res right now is not like fully maxed. I think I'm with the, yeah. I mean, it depends a bit which setup. But you basically want to get is about 60 all res, and then you're buffing yourself. I really recommend you do this, because it gives you 10 all res plus 1 max res and 150 armor for every nearby player. It's crazy if you're playing in a group in particular. So these are insane. Like, I definitely recommend you. Like, I stacked up on a few. So they only last for 20 minutes. So it would only last for 2 Abattoir of 0 runs. But I think it's worth it, man. Like, it's basically going to give you like thousands more armor with all the buffs and disobedience. Chucks of War is giving you crit and overpower and all stats. Also completely crazy. So you can use 3 at the same time, guys. It just needs to be type 1, type 2, and type 3. If you feel like you have too much armor, there's also another alternative. It's this one here. It basically increases the chance to dodge by 5% per nearby player. That also works really well. But yeah, that's kind of the rotation I want to do. And what you can also do is, I will show this to you here real quick. Let's just just use this buff. So you see, if I buff it, my res is almost max everywhere. And again, if you want more cold res, guys, you can just, okay, I want to give up a bit of berserking, and now I get, well, 69 cold res. So yeah, like this is how you max your res. And what I like to have is lightning, poison on boots. Like lightning is the most important res. And then the red furor always rolls fire, so I put a fire ruby in here. So my fire res is already maxed. And I'm putting shadow res here on my ring. And I'm putting shadow resistance in there, so my shadow res is also maxed very easily. So we have lightning, poison, shadow, fire max, and now it's only cold missing. And cold is like super easy to get, and this is a super good note because you're already maxing this board, right, with your Tears of Blood. Like you already spec up until here, basically. Then it's only 1, 2, 3, 4 points total. And it also gives you 150 armor and 30 cold res here with just a few Paragon points. And that's why I think you don't want cold res on your boots or anything. Cold res is the least important anyways, but you get some nice armor. You get some very nice stuff if you're just picking that one up. And I want to show you a potential item switch that I will experiment with. Like if item switching is possible, it looks like it is, there's going to be some shenanigans with these item switches. So this is what I plan to do on the boss. Just say, whatever here, this is going to be the boss. Okay, there's a few idiots. Okay, let's do it here. This is actually a good showcase. Oh, there's a damage reduction guy. Wait, let me kill that one real quick. Okay, now it's gone. So just to showcase this to you. Like, let's say this is a pool or the boss, like, doesn't matter. I need to wait for my cooldowns. It's like you make the pool and then you do it. Oh yeah, you see, like, these guys, like, they barely drain my fury. Oh, we're like 3-player now, somebody left, but that's fine. Okay, so the idea is you cast Wrath, you stun them, you press your shouts, boom. Then you switch, and you hit. Oh, I didn't do it correctly. Okay, wait. I'm still practicing this. Okay, wait here. I don't know, like sometimes it doesn't work. At least not properly. I didn't switch my bubble. So it's supposed to create a big bubble. Yeah, I didn't swap the chest. I was too slow. Yeah, I think the game has like some like delay or something. Not melted heart. Yeah, item switching is gonna be... It's gonna be a lot of shenanigans, let's say, right? But it seems like the game is like preventing you from switching in the pool sometimes. Okay, let's do it on this guy. So the idea is, like, let's just do it like simple, like easy. The idea is to switch in the bubble. Okay, see now the bubble procs, and now I'm immortal. You stay in the bubble and do a big hit, basically, and then switch back. And you can see here when my buffs run out that there is a 90 seconds delay for this bubble. But you can do it again, and you're just gonna be immortal anyways for 5 seconds, and you can do quadruple damage and another source of overpower here with the Banished Lord talisman, basically. Like stacking up your overpower and crit, and you're guaranteed to overpower and you're guaranteed to crit. So we're still practicing this a little bit. I might do, like, if item switching is possible, I'm probably gonna do a separate video talking about like all the different switches. I have another switch I wanted to show you. It's the ring switch on the boss. So there's probably gonna be an entire different setup to kill the epic fail. It's good for the video. There's an entire different setup. I'm only human, guys, yes? I'm still practicing this. And I really hope it's not gonna be meta. I mean, obviously my chest is also kind of bad right now. But yeah, so if you equip unequipped Melted Heart, you can definitely die. So I kind of have 2 rings. It's this one here that I might switch, and I have another one that's unrolled. So you see here, I'm always trying to switch the item with the same res. So I get, if I switch my ring now, I still keep my shadow res. I still keep my shadow res at 71, even if I switch it. So this is what I like try to do. It's the same with the boots. If I do a switch, so I have like movement speed or fury cost on the boots, and they both have lightning and poison res. So if I switch my boots, like, it doesn't change my res, right? And it doesn't change my vampiric power pacts on the items either. So yeah, on the boss, the Unrelenting will not work because the Bloodseekers are not considered a boss. They are considered an elite. So I was thinking of probably making this switch as well to get Fury. Because like, yeah, if you hit the boss and you don't kill it, you're not gonna get any Fury back from your Unrelenting. So potentially we make this item switch as well. But yeah, the bubble tech plus Banished Lord might be insane. Like, you might be hitting for like billions if you do this right. I'll practice this a bit more. And again, we will see on Tuesday if item switching is possible. I'll make a separate video if it is. But yeah, my plan is to blast for like 20 hours or something and see how high we can push on day one. I'm kind of expecting that with this build, we can maybe do it in a few days, like clear 25. I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited. I hope you enjoyed this overview, guys. This is going to be the build that I start. I'm going to make like maybe some last tweaks with the switches. But that is kind of like what I'm thinking. And obviously we might need to adjust. That's why I have like a lot of like different setups. Like maybe on the first tiers, I'm going to go in with like full DPS, Banished Lord Talisman, like 1 billion hits every Hota. Could be pretty insane. But we'll see. Hope you enjoyed this overview, guys. I'm excited. I'll see you soon. GG. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.